Hello guys and welcome to the daily updates. Now the World Bank has released its report on the countries with the most unequal societies. And you'd be very surprised to see where the land of the brave, the land of the rich, the rainbow nation, where it's situated on that list. Because much like this picture, South Africa is a country where equality is not there. There's no balance in terms of many things. This is where most poor black people stay, and this is where the rich stay. You can just see the poor people are just cramped. They just put them in that area. Like, it's a lot of people. You'd find that it's in this picture alone, it could be close to 200,000 people. But in this picture alone, it could be only 250 people. That's how the society is situated in South Africa. That's how you depict it, because before 94, there was few rich black South Africans. Then after 94, we had more black South Africans coming to acquire the riches. But you'd be very surprised because most of those were politically linked. Most of those were politically linked because you had to be inside that political party. You had to be inside that movement in order to have that money. That led to the introduction of things like tenders where people started making money. Corruption started growing. But the bigger picture is that the apartheid system made sure that it made most of its people, especially the most white people, they were well off. They had to have money. They were rich. And the black people, because they were on the low end of the society, they never had anything. But come 1994, instead of balancing that equation, ANC just let people be. I mean, you get people like Julius Malema talking about how they want equality, how they want land without expropriation, and you think that the man is crazy. But when you look at the picture like this, you would understand why some people are advocating for such things. Now, on the World Bank, they say South Africa is the most unequal country in the world, with race playing a determining factor in a society where 10% of the population owns more than 80% of the wealth, a World Bank report said on Wednesday. A society where 10% of the population owns more than 80% of the wealth. Come on. This is nonsense. 10% of the population owns 80% of the wealth. And if you do a thorough research, not trying to be racist or somehow, if you do a thorough research, that 10% is probably 90% white that owns 80% of the wealth in South Africa. And then you have people saying that no, land expropriation, this thing and that, those things, they are going to just divide South Africa. We are going to go to Zimbabwe. We are already Zimbabwe. We might be a Zimbabwe that went to Model C school, but we are already Zimbabwe because many people are just poor, while a few are rich and they control the economy of South Africa. So, top 10 countries with the highest wealth inequality, World Bank Gini Index. South Africa, it's number 1 on the list, 63.0%. Followed by Namibia, 59.1%. Number 3, Suriname, 57.9%. Number 4, Zambia, 57.1%. Number 5, Sao Tome and Principe, 56.3%. Central African Republic, 56.2%. Eswatini, 54.6%. Mozambique, 54.0%. Brazil, 53.4%. Botswana, 53.3%. The most funny thing about this research is that out of these top 10, it looks like 9 of them is from Africa. I'm not quite sure what Suriname is a country from, but it's probably from Africa. If it's not, I would be wrong, and then it would be 8. But the majority is Africa. Remember, the settlers came in Africa. change everything in Africa and then put the indigenous people of Africa, put them on the side and divided them. And they had to beg from the lower side. They had to beg for everything to be accepted as people, to be accepted into the community, to be accepted in Africa as a whole. When you look at that and look at this report here, which has all the African countries, most of them, it's so unfortunate that we see ourselves where we are now. I mean, South Africa being number one, we can't be surprised. We've never been number one in anything. Olympics, soccer, cricket, we've never been number one we've never won any major thing. But we win when coming to things like the most countries with crime, the most unequal society. That's where we win. I don't know why they don't give us medal for this, because we should be having a lot of medals. Well, I'm just trying to be funny there. But all in all, it's such a shame that we find ourselves here. Bongani Bingwa is a presenter on 702. He says, we are the number one country in the world, ranked first out of 164 countries, 164 nations. The World Bank has confirmed that what we already knew. We are the most unequal society, with race being a major factor. 10% of us own 80% of the wealth. How do we fix racial inequalities? Let's go to one of the experts who can tell us how do we fix it.
Steal a car and you pass over the stolen car to your children. It makes that child a criminal as well, because it's in possession of stolen goods. And that child passes that car, or doesn't even pass that car. He sells that car to go and buy another car with the money of stolen goods. It remains a stolen good, the property you bought with the money stolen, got from a stolen goods. You are in possession of stolen property. Mm-hmm. Return it, please.
Yes.
Your parents have left you a very bad name.
Of course.
And don't blame it on us. But I asked a question earlier. Reparations are paid.
I'd like to stop you right there.
Yeah, no need to listen to that lawyer though. But as Julius is saying, the bigger picture is that the injustice happened a long time ago. But when ANC came into power, it never done anything about it. They brought BEE. They brought tenders. They brought corruption. As we speak, Patabile Dlamini was just found guilty just yesterday. Everyone in the ANC is always found guilty or accused of something. Now, you find yourself in that position. It tells you that when a party like ANC came into power, they looked at enriching themselves because they fought for freedom. They said, let us get rich because we fought for freedom, and then we'll look at the rest later. Let's give them grants. They're going to say, oh, we have grants, they are doing something good for us. But what about the bigger picture? You cannot give me 350 rand to live for the whole month knowing that I don't have a job. Now we are having unemployment rising in South Africa. Where do we look for? They are making themselves rich. They are forgetting to look at the bigger picture, inequality in South Africa. Where do we go? How do you fix this? Because there's no way of fixing it. You look at the richest person in South Africa and you look at the poorest person in South Africa, it will shock you. Because it's not going to be the poorest person. It's going to be the poorest millions in South Africa. It goes the same to where this company hire people. I once got hired by a company. I remember I was hired with a white person. I had more experience and more papers, qualification than him. The guy was earning a lot of money than me. When you go and question them, what is the difference? They will tell you, but for you guys, you can live easily there in Kasi. You can find a room that's you are paying for 1,000 rand, while the white guy has to go and pay for a place, a flat worth 6,000. So that's why. Then that's where inequality continues to thrive, because no one is doing anything about it. They let the money in the hands of white people, and then they let the majority of black people be broke and have to look for white people to rescue them in terms of finance. Now that's where the problem, the bigger picture is. And it's not only in South Africa, it's Africa as a whole. What do we do about such things? Because our leaders are just clueless. They don't have brains. We will never find ourselves having a better Africa in future, because the only thing we know is, okay, we have mines. If we have people from China who can come here and mine the minerals that we have, they can pay us this money while they get the rest of the money. China comes, there are people who are in charge of these regulations of the mines. The Chinese come, they say, man, don't worry, we are going to give you 50 million. You get happy because you get 50 million. They go back home with 50 billions. They gave you cents and you ate it alone. You don't even share it with the rest of the people. That's where the problem comes, because we are looking at enriching ourselves. And I believe that whatever the investigation that came with World Bank is not accurate. It's not 60. What was that percentage? It is not 63. It's probably 80 something. 83 there. But this is the picture. That's where most of, that must be Khayelitsha. That must be Cape Town. That's where most of our black people, not most, all our black people stay. You will never find a white person here. If you don't believe me, look at these guys here. They're black. You will never find white people staying at such place. A place where you can just build 5 houses. You find 20 houses. Because they had to put us at one place where in apartheid, if they need to get access to us, they can find us easily. But then again, if leaders of this country don't do anything about it, who are you to talk about it? Because next thing they will accuse you of stupid things. Anyway, guys, sorry for the rant. Thank you for watching, and hope you subscribe to the channel. But we need to do something about this problem we have in South Africa.